Great. Hope everyone's doing well. I think we've actually heard a lot of insights. I think sometimes when you come onto these sessions, you wonder what more you're going to say, what differently you're going to say, because you've actually had all the industry experts talk through some of the more critical challenges, right? But the topic is not very different. My name is Abhinav Suresh. I've been with Locus for close to 4 years now, sorry. We're going to be talking about supply chain, but resilience, human, AI, all those elements, right? So let me get started. I'll start with a slide poll. I'm not able to see everybody thanks to the lights, but a quick poll. How many of us genuinely believe that AI, and honesty would be good, is a threat at this stage in supply chain? No hands, great, okay. How many of us believe it's an opportunity? Great, that's a good show of hands. Last question, how many of us believe that AI and humans can actually work together? Fantastic, okay, great. So I think some of you have already answered this question, and honestly, the truth lies somewhere in between, and that's exactly what I'm going to try and explore. In the next 10 to 12 minutes, my job is to try and talk about AI, supply chain AI, humans in supply chain and AI, and also build some credibility in the process of doing this, right? Now, sorry. When Locus started about close to 10 years back, we were providing tracking solutions and route optimization. As we went along in the journey, we wanted to build in the human element into what we were doing, and really that's where AI came into the picture. And I'll tell you why I say that as I go along, right? Now, Locus's vision was to build a fully AI-powered TMS solution that would actually do 4 things. 1, it would be able to serve world-class logistics requirements. 2, it would be able to autonomously move a product or person from point A to point B. 3, it would provide for green and sustainable deliveries. We've seen a lot of that today. And 4, all of that without compromising on the most critical element, which is the customer experience, right? Which at that time, by the way, we didn't know was on the cusp of changing forever, right? Now, I'll go on to my first slide. Take a moment to digest this slide, right? I think some of the conversations today have actually been around this. I think the gentleman here also spoke about some of these, and we're going to be seeing another slide on retail as well. But the fact that India, 10 years back, 15 years back, didn't envisage this, didn't see this coming. The question I'm trying to ask is, how many of you here as supply chain practitioners actually envisaged what your future supply chain would look, either from a retail perspective or from an FMCG perspective or an e-commerce perspective, what that would look like? Or did we imagine, for that matter, what green and sustainable deliveries would look like? Or how many of you here actually knew what customer experience was going to look like 10 years back? The answer is the landscape has completely changed, right? But the complexities have also changed with that, okay? Let me talk about that with retail as an example, right? All of us here are aware of healthcare products, right? So take skincare, for example, right? I think many years back, we had a few products of skincare. Now we have maybe 100 SKUs of skincare for the fingers, for the hands, for the face, for the head. I mean, you can name it. There are hundreds of them actually out there. And there are hundreds of brands. The fact is that actually the number of SKUs have exploded, the brands have exploded, but the retail shelf space has shrunk significantly, right? Now, this has put significant pressure back on the supply chain, right? Increasing costs, reducing SLAs, and even brought in a term called reverse logistics, which never existed about 10 years back, to be honest, right? I'll give you the best example for this, right? We work with a retailer across Southeast Asia and India. They used to replenish once in 4 weeks. In the last few years, they started doing it twice. Now they do it thrice. Essentially, now they're doing it about 4 times a week, right? Not to forget all the requirements that they have to fulfill for their micro-fulfillment centers and their dark stores as well, right? Now, what I'm trying to essentially say is that I'm sure each of you here would have thought that somebody will create, a solution that will be a perfect unity of demand and supply, a perfect demand forecasting tool, right? I mean, we keep calling it like a sort of a holy grail solution, which could unify suppliers, distributors, manufacturers, right? Demand, supply, all of it. Fact of the matter is actually it never happened, and it can never happen because it's too ideal to exist in the complexity with which we thrive today, right? Now, why is this happening? What is this tilt in the pendulum, right? I call it the pull and the push factor. The pull factor is this, right? Pre-COVID, all of us here used to go to a supermarket, we used to fill up our carts, and we used to walk out because we used to take what was required and we used to walk out. The push factor is today all of us sit in the comforts of our home and actually get items pushed to our doorstep, right? We all get it whether we like it or not on our doorstep, right? Now, these pull and push factors, just keep this in the background, right? Why are these important, right? The fact of the matter is our lives have actually become push notifications. Think about it, right? When you parked your car outside here in the hotel, you got a notification from Google saying your car has been parked here, right? You go into Spotify, you go into YouTube, you get songs pushed to you as push notifications because of your liked playlist. When you're on Amazon, you actually get products that are pushed to you because of your past search history. When you go into a retail mall, when you go into a retail store, restaurant, there are ads being pushed to you. So essentially, all our lives have basically become push notifications. The only question I'm trying to ask here is, where do we draw this line? I mean, there's an explosion of AI, there's an explosion of agility, there's an explosion of complexity, but where do we draw this line, right? I'm going to quote my founder here. I think this is a great example he keeps giving about why AI and humans actually can collaborate, right? We all know Magnus Carlsen. We all know the great grandmaster of chess, right? Did you know that he's actually never beaten IBM's Deep Blue supercomputer in chess? Do we know this, right? The latest, if some of you have the latest iOS phone with you, the chess game on that in chess.com has actually still not been beaten by a lot of great chess players. Yet, in the last 5 years, interestingly, chess has become the most popular board game. Do we know why? The answer is exactly what I said 2 minutes back. There's a lot of value in human beings doing things. There's a lot of value beyond apps, beyond algorithms, beyond the fact that you can actually let an app determine your life, or an algorithm determine your life, or even AI determine your life, right? And I'm going to give an example right for this, right? 5 to 10% of all human decisions today, as we sit here, are taken by human beings, right? Be it a medical emergency in our lives, be it a machinery breakdown, most of us come from manufacturing backgrounds, or even be it lack of information. All of us essentially use human intelligence to take that last 5% of decisions, right? And the best example for that is this room, right? Logistics. Because logistics edge cases are the name of the game, right? You can have the best TMS, the best technology, solve 10,000 of your orders in a day, but 99% of those the tech can solve. There's always a 1% element which tech will not solve, which a human being will solve, right? And why is this important? In spite of all this, AI is helping us. And how is it helping us, right? We all use, QSRs, we use Zomato, Swiggy, and multiple such applications today. Do you know the exception levels of these drivers who use these applications has gone down almost 80%? What I'm trying to say is, drivers today are able to deliver products with greater customer experience because AI is actually guiding them and guiding us to guide them, right? They know their SLAs, they know where they have to turn, they know what is a geofence, they know when they have to drop it, they know if they're going to be late, you're able to notify, they're able to notify you. It's brilliant. The fact that AI can actually work with us is exactly why AI is also a boon, right? Now, let me summarize this quickly for you, right? The fact that there is so much complexity has also been brought to our fore when we were in COVID. I think COVID was the best master for all of us in many ways, specifically when it came to logistics. Logistics was no more a far-off subject, right? It came to our dining rooms, it came to our living rooms. Each one of us here have sat in our dining tables asking, where am I going to get the next feed for my child from? How am I going to get the chicken for my dog? How am I going to get medicines for my aging parents? Why? Because supply chain wasn't a distant topic anymore. It was very much a part of your bedroom, very much a part of your dining area, and you were discussing this every single day, right? So, let me conclude this very quickly, right? At Locus, we actually have got this perspective that AI and humans are actually very inseparable as entities. We don't believe that they can that they can't coexist. We actually believe that people are AI managers, AI will produce chaos, and people will manage this chaos, right? And I'm going to end with this quote. Actually, this quote summarizes everything for me. Yesterday, I was in a conference in Kolkata, and I was listening to Arundhati Bhattacharya. She's the South Asia MD for Salesforce, right? And she made a beautiful quote, actually. She said, AI is not here to remove humans. AI is here to humanize humans. Think about it, right? Think about the amount of humanizing AI can actually do because you can spend that much more time with people, with aspects that are humane. Okay. So we started as a system of we developed our tool as a system of autonomous delivery that can move products from point A to point B, like I said earlier. We started in 2015 doing just last mile deliveries with captive fleet, then went into outsourced and contracted fleet. Then slowly we went into multi-channel, all-channel. We did air, freight, sea, first mile, last mile, all of that. And then came a very important milestone for Locus about close to 2 months back. IKEA is now, IKEA, which is the retailer, IKEA, is now both a customer and a capital partner for us. So Inca Group has invested in Locus. The acquisition is complete. We'll be independently operating as Locus itself, and we'll also be delivering our product to 60+ countries. So if any IKEA fans here, hopefully in a matter of a year or so, you'll start getting Locus-powered deliveries to your house, and hopefully the experience will get better as we go along. Now, what was our vision, right? Where did we start this journey? We wanted to create something called DISCO, Digital Supply Chain Officer. Okay, I'll take a moment. Each of us here, as practitioners of supply chain, face edge cases every day. So our vision really was that each of you can go beyond your title, beyond your industry, beyond your role, beyond your relationships, use platforms like Locus to be able to feed in all these and make this platform more viable to you. So we hoped, after deploying a product like Locus, you would be able to predict future demand by having your past data put into our system and be able to manage peaks and non-peaks. Also be able to manage all your cost contracts, manage the mix of fleet that you need to see on the ground, right? Without compromising on OTIF, and then be able to choose from a range of fleet as well, contracted, outsourced, right? Based on what was viable, what was feasible, what made sense for the organization to sort of use. And from there, once the items are dispatched, be also able to track them with the control tower, again, giving you predictable capabilities to say, where are the SLAs, when are they going to be met, are they not going to be met, etc. And then take proactive decisions on the go, real time. This is what we imagined. And once the deliveries are fulfilled, be able to reconcile. I think a lot of work today goes into reconciliation, which is manual, which eliminates accuracy to a larger extent, and then be able to drive out outcomes. And finally, not last but the least, use this data to be able to drive analytics, right? Data analytics, both behavior as well as internal operational efficiency, right? Having said that, Locus runs on a system of agentic AI today, and we're hoping that we can answer unanswered questions, we can be omnipresent, and we can reduce this chaos by 1%. This 1% chaos, we're hoping to reduce that so that we can give you back 100% order fulfillment and maybe 10% retention of your resources, right? That's exactly who we are. Just to conclude, Locus works with a plethora of industries, e-commerce, retail, FMCG being our strongest. These are some of the logos we work with globally across all the regions. We're spread across 4 regions, like I said, North America, Europe, India, Middle East, and Southeast Asia. And we are also now, like I said, a part of IKEA, which makes us fairly set up for perpetuity. With that, we are just outside in a booth by which name Locus. If any of you have a story to share and you think some of this resonates with what you're looking for, more than happy to try and talk to you about it. Thank you so much. Pleasure.